Tansi, hello, bonjour, good day. I'm Dallas Arcand, three-time world champion hoop dancer, broadcasting to you from the beautiful unceded territory of the Okanagan Nation, also known as the Seal Nation. And it's a great honor and a privilege for me to be here to share these cultural teachings on this land. Again, I acknowledge that I'm on the traditional territory of the Okanagan Nation, and I am a guest here. I'm originally from Treaty 6 territory, but this is kind of like my second home because my daughter is from out here. So, in a way, I'm kind of part of this territory, even though it's not my traditional territory. It kind of is in a way because of the family interconnections and my connection with my daughter, uh, who is half Okanagan and half my mix, my crazy mix, my crazy Cree mix. I'm on to the fifth hoop right now, so this would be hoop number 5 or moon number 5, if you want to think of it in terms of the moon cycle from a traditional standpoint. For those of you that don't know, we have 13 moons that go around the earth every year, and every moon is like a new month, and that traditionally was our calendar as indigenous people. Now, I'm no moon expert or astrology expert or anything like that. uh, all I'm doing is connecting my hoops to the natural elements, and this was brought to my attention through the elders and the teachings in which I was exposed to. Now, I have much to learn because I only started learning this stuff at my late teenage years, and I feel like I have a lot still to learn in this lifetime, and I'm grateful for what I do know now, and that's what I'm sharing with you today. And so right now, I'm going to be sharing all the teachings I know with 5 hoops. 5 hoops is a really common and important number in the hoop dance world. So this particular chapter in the book would be the fifth chapter, the fifth hoop. And in this chapter, I'm mostly talking about healing through the music. So music is like medicine in our culture. Without the music, we would not be able to dance. We would not be able to hoop dance. We would not be able to function at times. Like even our ceremonies are interlaced with this beautiful music that comes from our ancestors, and it connects us to the Great Spirit, Kisimanitu, there's a lot of interconnectedness throughout that. So I just thought I would share that and give an honorable mention to that. So, anyways, without further ado, I want to get into the 5 hoops. Now, there's a couple of different things I want to share about 5 hoops. Now, some of the hoop dancers down south, this is their signature amount, 5 hoops. Those Pueblo dancers from the Pueblos like New Mexico, even the Navajo, some Navajo Nation people use like a fewer number of hoops. Specifically, the Hopi Nation, like Derek Davis, the late great Nakota Lawrence uses 5 hoops. His sister, Sonway Lawrence, uses 5 hoops. And even the current world champion this year, 2024, Josiah Enrique, he uses 6 hoops, I believe. So he just added that one just to be a little bit different than his master, his teacher, the late great Nakota Lawrence. The master of 5 hoops, and he's one of the many masters in that respect. So, anyways, I'm gonna get right down to it. The first time I seen a 5 hoop routine, I was kind of like, I was kind of young and arrogant, and I was thinking, oh, what's this guy gonna do with 5 hoops? I'm like, I got him beat. I'm like, I got 20 hoops, because back home in my territory, they always ask me, hey, Dallas, how many hoops you gonna do now, or how many hoops you up to now? I'm like, same, 20. And I had to learn a humble lesson myself, because when I seen this dance performed with 5 hoops, it just blew my mind, because you have to be very creative to use 5 hoops. You have to actually have more creativity in your routine, in your dance, and everything like that to use 5 hoops. And if you watch Derek Davis, or if you look up Nakota Lawrence and many others that use 5 hoops, you can see the amount of creativity that goes into that. the dance moves, the steps, the spinning, the twirling, the different styles that are incorporated in that style of dance. So I'm going to show you the basic fundamentals of 5 hoops and how to do it. So I got 5 hoops here. I'm going to show you the very first move that I ever learned. We'll start right from the beginning, right from the days when I discovered hoop dancing by the late great Joe Chatsis, my former schoolmate and former roommate that I was introduced to the hoop dance by. So this is the move that Joe showed me. This is how he showed me how to do this move. Now I've graduated since then, obviously, because I became the world champion in my own right. So this is the very first move and how I learned it. So basically Joe, he taught me like this. He's like, okay, you gotta hold 2 hoops on the side, 1 in the center like this. So you take this outer hoop and you push it over like this, and you hinge it and push it up like that. And then you do the same on this side, push it over, hinge it up, and then you make sure that this hoop that's on your shoulders, each side of it needs to be inside of this center hoop. And then these ones dangling here, you need to hold them together. And then what you do from here is you pull this up behind your shoulders and extend. And there you go. You have your little simple eagle formation right there, little bird formation, whatever you want to call it. You know, a lot of people just refer to this as the eagle. Some people can point these like this and call this the buffalo because you're as big as a buffalo, and some dancers will even go like this and charge like a buffalo. So you could be a buffalo, you could be an eagle, or you could even tuck these hoops in like this and be a butterfly like this. So you could also, you know, it just extends and connects to so many different lessons throughout that. So I'm gonna go through a couple of different motions. So there's the 5, you know, like that. You could also fly like this, just like we did in 3 hoops. You could fly like this, just like an eagle. Your wings are extended, you're flying, you're soaring, right? You're soaring around like an eagle. So it's about the creativity that goes in to the hoop dance, that makes up the hoop dance. So much like we did in hoop number 3, if you remember, you go over like this, and then you keep going over. This one's slightly different because then now I gotta bring these hoops down right here and fold it down and release the tension. And then just like we did with 3 hoops, but now we got 5 hoops. And now what we're doing here is sliding our elbow and letting this drop. So what you got to do here is you got to anchor this with your pinky, anchor this other section with your pinky, and somehow straighten them out so that they're equal. And now you have 4 equal parts. And there's that nice beautiful flower design that we can make with the hoops. So it's a flower symbol, it's a medicine wheel symbol, it's a lot of different symbols. You could even go like this, you could even flip it up and make it into a basket like that. So you can make this into a basket, which is traditionally a part of our culture. See, it's like a basket. I weave the basket with hoops. So this is just a small basket, and then from here you can pop these down like this. And then now you have a little mini sweat lodge over you, like you're inside the sweat lodge, right? So you can look at it a couple of different ways. And then now to get back to it, all you gotta do is reverse that, flip that around, back, and then we're gonna go into the world formation from here. So we take these 2 outer hoops, see how I swung them in, dropped them like that. And from my recollection, this move kind of came from Quinton Pipestem, who's also a 3-time world champion hoop dancer from the Sutana Nation. I remember when I first started hoop dancing, Joe came back from school one day and he's like, oh my God, the world champion Quinton Pipestem just came to the school and he showed us some moves. Look at this cool move. Like even Joe didn't even know this move. So Joe, his world moves were different, right? So this move, when Joe discovered it, he's like, wow, this Quinton Pipestem guy is pretty darn good. And by right, yeah, he was good. He was a 3-time world champion, you know, he did really well for himself. Anyways, so we're gonna cross these hoops over the back like this, and then we're going to pull them over your head like that, so that these hoops are kind of locking together. And then you're going to take this outer hoop and center it, and then now you should be able to get out of this formation. See how I pulled my arm out? So my other arm was locked in. Now I pull this out like this. There, now you have a globe. Now what I've seen the Southern style hoop dancers do, specifically Derek Davis, is what he does is he takes these two center hoops and crosses them over each other and separates them. And then with that, you could carefully remove the outer hoop now. So this is really cool. I don't know if I'm gonna get in trouble for showing Derek Davis's signature moves, but this is just for fun, for knowledge sharing. You guys can do whatever you want. See how I carefully remove the outer hoop? So now you have another hoop to play with. And this would be part of the finishing routine of you know, the Southern style that Derek does in his specific movements. So anyways, it's all about the creativity that you put into the hoop dance that makes up the hoop dance and what it is. So like I said, the music part is important. So I'm gonna go through the setup of how, when I lay out my 5 hoops, this is how I set them up on the ground. And part of it has to do with the philosophy and the teachings behind it. So I put one in every direction like this to symbolize the 4 directions of Mother Earth. And then I put the one in the center to represent for the balance. So as you can see, if you look, you can see the hoops are kind of in that 4 directions, and it represents for balance. It represents for unity. And even in our music, like the powwow songs that we dance to, they all have 4 starts and 4 parts. So there's the lead, the pickup, the verse 1 and verse 2. So that's how we know where we're at in the song. Like that's how the structure of a powwow song is. There's a lot of structure to it, and that's how we're able to collectively dance and know when those beats are gonna hit, know when those honor beats are gonna hit, know when the song's gonna pick up, know when the song's gonna stop, and so on and so forth. So I just thought I'd share that with you. So now that I've showed you the setup, I'm just gonna jump right into the 4th hoop as if we had them there all along, because I already did some 4 hoop moves. So this is one of the moves that I will transition from. So where we left off from lesson number 4, we had this move. You know, that's where I take this, make it into a flower, and then drop it down and lock it into a globe, right? So there's that move. So from here, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna spin this hoop around my ankle, and I'm gonna spin these 4 hoops, and then I'm gonna jump into another formation. So I'm gonna jump into like a small flower formation that's more on the ground rather than the flower that's up here. So I'm gonna do the low hanging flower, like the one that's down at the feet. And then from there, I'm going to extend it out and show you a couple of different moves out of that. All right, so here we go. So typically I would be coming out of this move, dancing, of course, dancing to the beat. Then I start spinning the move, the hoops, spin backwards and forward. Then we go into the next part where we're gonna spin this hoop, and then all together at once, 5 hoops, catch, and then from here, jump. And then we're into this move right here. So I'm gonna go like this, lock these in, and then we got that little flower formation down low here. A little floral design. There's a lot of floral designs in Cree culture and Anishinaabe and Métis culture. So anyways, from here, this is my signature transitional move to go from this into the next move. So the next move is coming up. So what I do right here is I'll take this hoop and lock it in. I'll take these outer hoops like this and lock them in like this. And then we have another formation like this. It looks like a big old H, right? And then from here, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna push these hoops down like this really quick, and then it just releases that center hoop, and there you go. There's the next move. So we have the next formation right here, which to me, when I see this formation, it represents for the Northern Lights, because that's my territory, and that's the closest thing that associates me to this particular move with the 5 hoops and down low like that when I'm dancing. It represents for that. If you ever see the Northern Lights, it's like a rainbow of lights in the night sky, and to our people it represents for the spirits and our ancestors dancing in the sky. So the Northern Lights, they're doing a dance, even though scientifically you may, you know, science tells us that it's the aurora borealis. It's the light reflecting from the sun and the water, the ocean. It's hitting the ocean and then causing the light and the solar rays, blah blah blah. So anyways, to me, that's what I interpret this from an indigenous perspective, right? That's the aurora borealis, because look at my feet are dancing out of this band or this ray or this rainbow of light. So that's what that means to me. Okay, so I just thought I'd share that. So now we go into the next move, which is similar to the 3rd hoop, but we're dealing with 5 hoops now. And so you see my foot, I switched it really quick. So all I do here is just switch this, let go of this hoop right here, and then place it over this hoop, and then drop it. And then we have the next formation, which can be interpreted as a snake, or if you're like Tony Duncan, you'll flip this hoop like this, and you'll throw this hoop like this, and you'll be like, you pet your horse, right? Like, oh, good boy, good boy. Like, get up, get up, get up. Yeehaw, yeehaw. But, yeah, it's no diss to Tony, but that's his style, right? But, you know, that's his signature move. It's really cool because he's telling a story, right? About our connection to the horse. Mr. Tim, we say in our culture. Mr. Tim, which literally translates to big dog. In the Cree culture, in the Cree language, big dog, Mr. Tim, because historically horses were never really a part of our culture. Some say there was indigenous North American horses, but history and archaeology tells us otherwise. And the reason why we don't have a word specifically for horses in the Cree language is because there is no such thing. Because the way that we used dogs in our culture is they would actually help us like the horses did for transportation and other things. They would help us carry our goods, and they used to have a little travois, that would go over the dog's back, like a little mini one, and the dog would drag along whatever we had to carry, right? You know, whether it's a small teepee or some food or some supplies or whatever, right? So that's how the dogs were used. So when the horse came along, the horse was just a bigger version of the dog because the horse was used in a bigger capacity like that. So that's, to me, as an indigenous Cree person coming from that, my culture and my language, that's what it interprets into. Big dog, Mr. Tim. So I just thought I would share that with you. A little bit of knowledge in between there. So here's that. You can interpret this as a snake. You can interpret it as a lightning bolt, you know, coming from the sky, because it's kind of got that jaggedness and ruggedness from it. So then from here, I go to another floral design. So I take this top hoop right here. Oh, you can also do this as well. You can make, so some people see this and they're like, oh, it's a crocodile, it's an alligator. Now to me, I don't interpret it that, because we don't have crocodiles up here in Canada. I interpret this as a Mohican. You know what a Mohican is? It's a wolf. Mohican. So the wolf will howl at the moon, right? Ow! wolf will travel and will hunt, right? So that's what I interpret that as. So from here, this is the trick. I always teach my students this. You grab this center hoop right here with this hoop. So now these hoops are free. You can do whatever. You can take them right out if you want, but don't take them out. We're gonna go to the next move. So what I do with this free hand is I'm gonna pull this hoop through like this and put this hoop on top of here like this. And there you go. Now you have another flower design, or whatever kind of design you want to embrace this as. You know, you can interpret it a couple different ways. Like for me, it represents for that floral design, but other hoop dancers might interpret it as different. So from here, this is where it gets a little tricky and where I go into the next move. So I bring this over like that, and this is about the transition for me, and then I flop this over like this. So I leave that hoop intact, center hoop, throw it over like that. See how I threw all three hoops over like that, and this has to go over my head. And then you got to pay attention here to where things are going. So you got to push your arms through like this, grab the hoops around. It kind of looks like a ball of confusion right now until you pull the hoops out like this and unfold them. Boom, there's your move. And I showed you guys the flower and stuff earlier. And now I'm just going to finish things off with doing the world. So we go like this, and I showed you these moves in the beginning, so you can rewind it and check it out for yourself. And then here is the world. And if you get real fancy and real good, you can just roll it over your shoulders like that. Ta-da! And there you go. There's your 5 hoop lessons. So I hope that the things that I share with you in this video today and forever, because it's going to be online, and as long as YouTube exists, it'll be here forever for future generations to learn off of. And I hope what I share here today helps, because when I started, I didn't really have a lot of help in the beginning, other than the people that I met on the Powell Trail and the elders that helped me along my way, which I'm very, very grateful for. So thank you so much, and have a good day. I'm gonna peace out for now. All right.